How's going, guys, and welcome to this week's View It For Me vid, where we just review anything and everything, things that get sent out, things that you choose, or things that I'll pick around camp. So starting to sound like a robot saying this, but for those who are just new to the channel or this series, yeah, that's what it's all about. This thing, I actually just mentioned in a video not too long back, about a month or so ago now, about wanting to get one, but I didn't realise I'd end up with one so soon. So this was something that when I first took off, it didn't really faze me. I didn't really need service, you know, anything like that wherever I went. But then after a while doing it, especially when I started up like Spruce Clothing, selling merch and things like that, and wanting to really post more to my page, you know, I thought, well, it was a bit hard because I'd be out of service, so I didn't want to have to come back into service just to put a post up or something like that. And I know it's not the end of the world, but I just, you know, I like doing it. I like showing you know, what I do in that. So that was the whole idea of creating the page for family and friends to start off with, and then yeah, went a bit more for me. When I got stuck into it, and like I said, it was a way of making money, selling me merch and that, I'd have to make plans to leave a spot, come into a place where I had service to check everything, make sure everything's going right, you know, update things, post a few more. It was a bit shit because some spots I just don't want to leave, you know, and it didn't matter to me that I didn't have service, but it did because that was a way of making money. I had service, so I could keep onto my little shop. I can get back to people, I could reply to people, because at the beginning I never had a website neither. I was selling them through, you know, me page, message and stuff like that. I wasn't up to date at that stage, so probably lost a lot of sales. So yeah, then I started looking into a bit of a Wi-Fi, you know, satellite Wi-Fi, and holy, I think one of the prices I was looking at was about $3.5 grand. So I thought, well, that's a lot of money, and that was just for the hardware. So that put a hold on that. That wasn't on top of the monthly costs, and that's what really just I couldn't afford. Like, I wasn't earning that much out of my little sales to bother with that. So back to the drawing board. Never happened again for a while, and I ended up getting like a you know, like your RV Wi-Fi. Then I went to Salferno, which are all still run off your SIM, so it's still like phone towers. Telstra obviously being the best if you are traveling, from what I found. Yeah, so you just plug in your little SIM card to these devices and it'd get me a bit better service, but you had to be in service. But when you were in service, it was good, the old Salferno. It'd be quick, it wouldn't be slow like your phone would be. But yeah, still had the same issue. I had to be in service. So then I ended up seeing the old STARLINK go on sale for half price. And at this stage, the whole of Australia wasn't covered yet. It was getting there, it was definitely getting there. Where I am currently at the moment, it wasn't. So I thought, nah, stuff it. It's half price, probably never see this price again for a while. So less than half, I think it was. So I ended up getting it, I think $450. So I ended up ordering it. By the time it rocked up, the whole of Australia was covered by it. So what a ripper. I went from, like, obviously me payment per month went up a bit more than what it used to be for Telstra, but now I've got like unlimited, you know, data, and look, I haven't had it long enough to know all the ins and outs with it, but seems to be working fine here. I know it doesn't like the old obstructions, you know, I do have a bit of trees around me and that, but it hasn't been enough to affect me. Like on your phone calls, you can be ringing and all it'll do is it'll just drop out. None of this like, you there, I can't really hear you, you know, it just totally drops out, which is not a bad thing. You know, especially not when you can be in the middle of nowhere now and possibly make a phone call if you need to. Or I can keep up with my little business, or I can keep uploading stuff now. It really has, yeah, I think it's really going to change things for me a little bit. So, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but when that's a way of having an income, well, good, yeah, I like it. I'm going to be happy with it. So far, my thoughts on it, I quite like it. I don't, like I said, I haven't had it long enough. I haven't travelled with it yet. It's only been set up in the one spot. I'll give you a little look at it, proper look. But yeah, all I did was, at the moment, I've just put it on. Most of you would know if you've watched previous videos, this is the pole where the wind turbine went on. So I've taken the wind turbine off. I'll probably end up down the track getting a horizontal one, but that's another story. And I've now housed the STARLINK on that pole. Bit of a dodgy job, but no hardware shops anywhere close, so I just make do with what I had, and it's working. It's gotten it up high enough. I think I'm gonna leave it on that size length pole. I'll probably even get a little bit taller pole to get it up a bit higher, because it's actually not too bad at the moment. Saying I've got no obstructions around, but yeah, I reckon I'll end up just getting a little bit more taller pole, so if I am in another circumstance, I know, I've got a bit more height if I need to go a bit more higher. I think that's the name of this game, is try and get that thing up as high as you can. You may not need to in every spot, like I'm saying. Like if you've got no trees around you, you're laughing, but not every spot's going to be perfect. So just yeah, be ready for it, I guess, if you're going to end up getting one. Pretty easy to set up. And I got it. It had pretty basic instructions, really basic instructions. It was just a bit of cardboard with pictures on it, which I like, because I don't like reading. So that was pretty simple. And yeah, when I plugged her in for the first time, it just comes with your extension lead, your main plug. I think it's about, I don't know, must be 1.5 meters of your main 240 volt lead. Plug that straight into power. Then it's got your other lead that goes from your dishy or whatever they're called, into your back of your modem, into the bottom of that modem. Yeah, it's very easy to set up. And then I just jumped on the app, downloaded the app, which was free, and then yeah, let it do its thing. It had actually, I got it when it was sitting up there. So the first time I plugged it in, I only had it on its little stand. That's when I realised there's too much trees around for it, and I was having a bit of troubles with the obstruction or whatever it's called, because it was down a bit lower. So that's the whole purpose of why I put it on a taller pole. But yeah, when I first put it up there, I just put it up front of the camper, and then you could actually see it like and move on its own into the southern position, like facing south. So it was pretty smart, yeah. Nice, yeah, like I said, easy as, wasn't hard at all, but that's when I realised, oh, yeah, it doesn't really like these trees around us. So, but all it was doing is, it was still working. When it was working, it's working. It's like, it's either working or it's not working. Like digital TV, if it's on or it's off. Then the old analog was like snowy, yes, no. But yeah, so that's all it was doing. When I end up moving it up high, well, I wasn't having as much problems with it. Every now and then it still wants to cut out sometimes, but not a lot. It's on more times than it's off, that's for sure. So I'll give you a look at the app, and I'll show you what I mean about the obstruction little thing it's got that it shows you. So in the app, it's free to download. It's a STARLINK app. Just gives you a bit of an idea of what's going on. Gives you like outage times. If it drops out, it shows you. And then we got the visibility. So when you first set it up, it gives you this little display, and the more red on it, the less it's going to perform. So you want to try and get it so there's really no red around the outsides or anywhere in, like on where the blue should be. Even if there is red, I've noticed it still works for me. It just drops out a bit more, but at the moment, getting it up high, it's been pretty good. Then I'll do a speed test. Now with the speed test, it changes a fair bit. I've done it several times, and sometimes you'll get big numbers, sometimes you won't. It's just, yeah, but even though I haven't moved the position of it, but I've been able to upload stuff. Has no problems downloading stuff, like when I'm doing my editing and stuff like that. So it's been, yeah, quick enough for what I do with it anyway. And I'll also show you power. So when it comes to chewing power, like I said, I haven't had this long enough to know if things are right with it, but it's working, so they must be right. But I've noticed with the old power side of things, when I jump into my Victron app, it tells me it's pretty good, has good details on the app for the Victron gear. So it's telling me how much I'm drawing out of the 240 volt, which the only thing I have plugged into 240 volt, because that's what these are, they run off 240. I do believe there's a new one that's coming out, which is, I think, 12 volt. I'm not sure. With the 240 volt, I notice when I'm in the app, it fluctuates a lot. It goes from like 2.5 amps up to 3 or 4, you know, 3 or 4 amps. So it does, it goes up and down quite a bit. Now I'm not sure if it's when I'm using it, so when I start to jump on the net, so what I was trying to do is I was jumping on the net at the same time, and it felt like it was going up and down when I'm on the net, but then when I'm off the net it's still doing the same thing. So whether it's just when the wind's around and it's trying to, you know, it's chewing more because it's trying to catch the satellites, or I really don't know, I couldn't tell you, but I do notice it goes up and down quite a bit. So I'm putting it down to, because really I'm only going to be running this in the mornings. I'll start it up, and before I go to sleep I'll switch it off. So it's not going to be running overnight, which is just going to be a waste of power because I'm not using it. So with the modem, it's not too big. The only thing I wish they did was, you know, when you name something RV, I think it should be mountable. You know, because RV to me is mobile, so something's mobile, it can move, it can, you know, so I just wish that they made the modem like be able to mount, have mounting brackets on it, or an option, which I don't think there is on their site. I haven't seen one on their site. I've seen a few aftermarket ones, which I'll probably end up going if I can't make something myself, but I really do just want to mount it. I want to mount it where my other one was inside my sleeper cab as well. It's pretty good, it's got a pretty good range on it. For myself anyway, I can wander around here and still have range. It can sit flat, you know, the cords come out the back. The cord that goes from the dishy to the modem is a long cord. I can't remember exactly how long. I'll put it in text for you, but it's definitely a long cord. And if something happens to that cord, it can be replaced, because you can pull it out from the bottom of the dish and out from the bottom of the modem and replace it if need be. Another thing I did notice is on the bottom of the dishy, where it plugs into that, I had to put a zippy tie around it, because if it's out just the littlest bit pulls out, which I think it can pull out from the bottom of it, it plays funny buggers. It won't read. It says not communicating or something with the modem or whatever it says. Yeah, but what I did is I just put a zippy tie to hold it up, so that's fixed that. And that more happened when it was real windy, like got windy up there. I noticed it wanting to pull out just the slightest. It doesn't have to come out much. So that's the only other thing I've figured out with it. Prices, yeah, like I said, $450 it was for the hardware. 175 it is a month. No, that's not too bad. So 175 for a month for unlimited. Like I said, it keeps me up to date, it keeps me posting, so it keeps me on my website. Yeah, and now, like I said, wherever I go, there's a good chance I'm going to have service there. So in saying that, if you had a satellite phone, or if you had an EPIRB, or I run my Zoleo, would I get rid of them now because I have STARLINK? No, definitely not. The only thing I've gotten rid of was my data SIM from Telstra. I still got my Telstra phone, like, you know, I get the yearly plan, and then because most time now it's going to be hooked up to the Wi-Fi. That's the only thing I've cut. But as for my Zoleo, or whatever you may have, definitely not. Something were to happen, that Zoleo takes me about 2 seconds, because where it is, it's always with me, but in the car or wherever, or if I'm out bush or fishing or whatnot, on the quad camping, it's always with me, it's always around me. So it takes me all of like 2 seconds to turn it on, and if need be hit SOS or get my phone out and I can communicate via message, two-way messaging. But if something were to happen and you're in the vehicle and you had to stop quickly and there's emergency, it's going to take you a lot longer to set up that STARLINK than it is just to you know, pull Zolio out or anything like that. So I definitely wouldn't get rid of them straight away. Take your time and yeah, just hang on to stuff like that. But for an option, you know, when you got service and that, like, I think I pay 150 a year for that long service plan for Telstra, because I know that's more than enough for me, because I know the rest of it is just going to be running off the yeah, STARLINK. Anyway guys, I hope that sheds a bit of light on it for you, for those who are looking in at maybe picking one up. But yeah, for myself, it's already paid itself off, I feel, and will be in the future as well. Cheers for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Like I said, drop a comment if you want to know anything. So, oh well, I'm out of here. Catch yous, eh?